Bernie has also seemed to kind of gone along with the general narrative that Russia interfered in the 2016 election, which again, I always found kind of funny because even if that were the case, a big part of the claim is that what they did or WikiLeaks did or whoever released all these emails did was show that the DNC was colluding with the Hillary Clinton campaign against him. So you think if anyone would be more upset at the DNC, it would be him. But he seems to have gone along with the whole RussiaGate narrative.
It's very confusing because one of the developments in RussiaGate over the past year or so has been, if you go back and you look at the very first story that really came out about RussiaGate, which was, this is embarrassing that I remember this, it was July 7th, 2016 in Slate magazine by Franklin Foer, and it was called Putin's Puppet. And the thesis of it was the same thesis that was in the Steele report, which was that Putin was surreptitiously backing right-wing movements all over the world and trying to influence politics that way. When the story developed, and after Trump got elected, there was suddenly an expansion of this theme, and now Putin's hand was to be seen everywhere in the right and the left. It was pushing Black Lives Matter protests. It was trying to help Jeremy Corbyn get into power in England. And significantly, it was claimed that Russia was trying to advance the Bernie Sanders cause. There was even a story in the Washington Post in November of 2017 that said, it said, what will Democrats do when Vladimir Putin tries to get Bernie Sanders into office in 2020? In other words, they openly called Sanders the Putin-backed candidate. And I guess part of me would have expected Bernie to push back on this a little bit, but look, RussiaGate is an incredibly dicey subject for politicians. It's been very conspicuous that even though Bernie has paid lip service to it, he's not up there like Adam Schiff, demanding to know how many Putinites are in the Department of Agriculture or whatever it is. He's kind of been mute about it, but is that good enough? I don't know. It's tough. I mean, it's a very, very difficult situation, and you understand politically why he wouldn't go there. But Bernie's rep is that he doesn't care about the politics. So,
and just to go back to Tulsi Gabbard for a minute, did you also see that NBC News article, which actually came out just a few hours before she officially announced her candidacy, that Russia was going to be supporting her campaign?
Oh yeah, of course I saw that. I mean, that was an incredibly overt and just repulsive act of kind of journalism. And it doesn't have anything to do with anything except that she's on the wrong side of the Syria issue as far as the Washington consensus goes. So this is this propagandistic syllogism that's being employed everywhere. If you are not on the side of what we consider the anti-Russian mandate in Washington, if you have any kind of overlap with what we consider to be the Putin side of the equation, we're going to accuse you of being in league with Putin. If you're not down with us occupying Syria, you're for Putin. It's not just that you're a pacifist, you're for Putin. It's incredible to me that MSNBC, which markets itself as a liberal network, is pushing stuff like that, but they do. And, that's the world we live in now.
Well, one of the most fascinating things that came out about this was when Glenn Greenwald wrote a response about it in The Intercept. He exposed something, and I just want to read a quote from that article. He says, "What NBC amazingly concealed is a fact that reveals its article to be journalistic fraud. That same firm, New Knowledge, was caught just 6 weeks ago engaging in a massive scam to create fictitious Russian troll accounts on Facebook and Twitter in order to claim that the Kremlin was working to defeat Democratic Senate nominee Doug Jones in Alabama. The New York Times, when exposing the scam, quoted a New Knowledge report that boasted of its fabrications. Quote, "We orchestrated an elaborate false flag operation that planted the idea that the Roy Moore campaign was amplified on social media by a Russian botnet," end quote. And, that was really fascinating to me because I had missed that first article and didn't pick up on it until this, after the Tulsi Gabbard hit piece. And you figure that would be bigger news, that there's people out there actually trying to create fake evidence about Russian interference that doesn't actually exist.
It's amazing that story didn't get more traction. I was actually surprised that the Times sort of went against its own narrative there and actually did that story. I think that was Scott Shane, if I'm not mistaken, right? Was the reporter on that? But yeah, no, that whole business with new knowledge, synthesizing Russian activity in the Roy Moore race, that should have been a much bigger story. I mean, this is essentially the same people that are involved with, the sort of Hamilton 68 stuff, and they're the people who are creating the web infrastructure, that tool that allows you to sort of track Russian influence worldwide, and it's been responsible for all sorts of headlines about Russians being involved in, the Parkland shooting and, all kinds of things. In the Nunes report, and now it comes out that they're faking Russian influence operations. I mean, it's almost too ridiculous to even believe, but they've admitted it. So what do you do with that? It's incredible to me that didn't have more of an impact on the momentum of the RussiaGate story.
This is a special announcement. Noam Chomsky is returning to PRIMO NUTMEG this month for an all-new exciting interview on a wide array of hot-button issues. This is, without a doubt, Noam Chomsky's most controversial interview ever. Don't miss out. Subscribe to PRIMO NUTMEG on YouTube, iTunes, SoundCloud, or Spotify. Also, sign up for the mailing list at primonutmeg.com. That's PRIMONUTMEG.com. Don't miss the Noam Chomsky interview that everyone will be talking about. It's coming soon from PRIMO NUTMEG.